begin in Rivers State, where police have promised to intensify the fight against kidnapping and other violent crimes for improved security. This zero tolerance for criminal activities was restated when journalists visited the command headquarters in Port Harcourt to commend efforts of the police in ensuring the release of a colleague who was kidnapped. Senior correspondent Uche Okoro reports.
I show you that the Rivers State Police Command is on top of the situation. We will give them a run for their money. I mean criminals that enter this state. Bumper to bumper, action to action, hit to hit, and fire for fire.
Strong words from the Commissioner of Police assuring the Nigerian Union of Journalists that Rivers State would no longer be a safe haven for criminals. He described the release of Priest Bawukocha by kidnappers due to pressure from the police as an evidence of that resolve. Members of the gang who kidnapped journalists are still at large, but their own freedom may not last much longer, according to the police.
As I'm talking to you today, those who did those kidnaps, we had to hold something very dear to them, to their hearts. Something very dear. Let me not expose it. And so they were so suffocating that they have no option than to drop their prey.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists acknowledged the swift intervention of the police, but believe that more can still be done to protect essential workers who ply the roads at night.
We are thinking of what to do next. Should we go on protest? Should we do, in what way can we draw attention so that she can be released on time? And so yesterday morning, we had the cheering news that she had been released. So I want to thank you very much and the command. That is how it's supposed to be.
Mrs. Wukocha is glad to be home after almost 1 week blindfolded, sleep-deprived, and with little to eat in a makeshift building hidden away in a thick Ogoni forest. Other female journalists are here to support her until she can fully recover from being the news and return to reporting it. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
In other news, Nigeria is working towards positioning itself amongst top countries with vehicle electrification processes. Now, this followed a validation meeting on the draft National Action Plan for the development of electric vehicles in the country. Lara Falayon tells us more.
The Action Plan on Electric Vehicles targets strategic development of the vehicle electrification ecosystem in the country. This would bring about relevant fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, programs and initiatives to drive the mass production of the vehicles. This is alongside the development of an effective nationwide charging infrastructure. The meeting here is to validate the draft National Action Plan on Electric Vehicles in the country. The country's automotive industry players pledge commitment to vehicle electrification, which has brought about 2 assembly plants in the country for electric buses and vans.
What is it that government needs to do to come in and provide the necessary charging infrastructure across the country to make it easier to own and use an electric vehicle? And then also on the research and development, how does government promote in-house or in-country design and development to make it possible to develop EVs that are more conducive to the environment's practical, physical, and financial in Nigeria.
The Electric Vehicle Action Plan is also to enable the attainment and sustainable ownership of different types of transportation systems with zero emission by both public and individual end users. The automotive authorities say they are engaged in developing applicable advanced solutions with the development of the 100% solar-powered charging stations in 3 of the nation's universities.
Well, NADDC developed, like I mentioned earlier, 3 100% solar-powered EV charging stations, and then we also have a 4th one here in Abuja. So NADDC itself has 4 and more are coming. We're collaborating with more universities to set up more charging infrastructure. Now that is purely government side.
If others can do it, we can actually plan because we have very good roads, and the roads are well structured in such a way that you can have good control and the good, if you like, sensors along the road, so you can have autonomous vehicles, not just electric, but autonomous vehicles.
The talks at the validation meeting are geared towards guaranteeing inclusiveness and synergy among stakeholders in the action plan's development. Lara Folayo, TVC News.
A professor of agricultural economics at the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, Olutoyin Adetunji, has identified value addition as the solution of part of post-harvest losses in the country. Professor Olutoyin Adetunji was delivering a lecture in Osogbo on the topic improving the economic development of Osun State through value addition to our natural resources with focus on agriculture. TVC News correspondent Rafiu Hamid reports.
Statistics shows that Nigeria loses 60% of its agri-produce annually. In Osun, the situation is not different, despite the fact that over 70% of residents engage in farming. This no doubt contributes to hike in prices of food items. At this program organized by the Osun State Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Professor Olutoyin Adetunji stressed the need for government to formulate policies that will aid value addition.
Value addition, it focuses on production and manufacturing of goods when there are some physical changes on it. It will change from the original state to a better state through sorting, cleaning, packing, processing, packing again, and distribution.
Agriculture contributes 24% of GDP in Osun State, and the guest speaker believes this can be improved upon.
May I use this medium?
President of the Chambers in Osun State, Dr. Olu Olujide, appeals to government to create enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
Processing of certificate of occupancy should be made faster and its cost be reduced by 50% to encourage many individuals, SMEs, nano entrepreneurs to apply for it. Our investors will be highly delighted if certificate of occupancy is processed within a month.
The state governor, who was represented at the event, promised to harness all business resources to improve economic status of the state.
This administration will continue to facilitate a most favorably enabling environment for the development of economic activities to improve the living standard of the people and accelerate its status as a major commercial and industrial state.
The event, attended by entrepreneurs and agricultural experts, also featured presentation of awards to some distinguished individuals and organizations for their contributions to the development of the state. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Osogbo.